What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. My name is Tony, joined as always by Anthony.
How you doing, man? You doing good?
I'm good. You know, battling a little
Post 300
cold, post 300. This number that I've been thinking about for 5 months because I've been saving all these extra clips on the computer. I finally started to clean up the desktop a little bit, put some stuff to bed because that's now, it's out. Go listen to it if you haven't listened to it yet. But we're back with 301, and we got another interview for you.
It's funny. When we said we were going to do that compilation, it's like this will be an easy way to get a cool episode, but another episode, right? Without recording anything new. And then, we still had to meet to do the segue stuff. So it turned into, you know what I mean? Like you think it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be easy, but it was cool. Like I said in that last episode, I didn't even remember. A lot of those were 6, 7, 8 months old. And I will say this, for anyone that listened to that episode that was not on it, but we had on last year or this year, whenever this is going to come out, and we didn't ask you that question, it's because we forgot. It was not intentional. Like we made it a point to ask everyone we had on. We often forgot. So yeah, we had some killer guests back there last year or this year. When is this coming out? I don't even know.
This is coming out late 2025. So yeah,
late 2025.
This year. Yeah.
This year. We had some killer guests. It would have been cool to remember to ask that question every episode, but we didn't. So don't be offended.
Yeah, right. And it wasn't because we didn't want those people. We just, the idea didn't come until like end of the first quarter. And then we had already had, Ant and Brother Ali and Chris Ballou, and we didn't get a chance to ask them that question. And then we forgot to ask Jay Weinberg, and we forgot to ask Josh of Trust Cal. Yeah. So we, it is what it is. We had a great compilation of songs, a great extra conversations with the folks that we interviewed throughout the year that were able to join us for that. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. It was pretty cool. And, we're trudging forward. Episode 301, keeping the nerdery going as we always do around these parts. And another one for you this week.
Well, hey, but before we get into that, I have a question for you, because another acknowledgement I had when listening back is we didn't contribute to it. We usually contribute to these. Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot just like we did the guests. Name a perfect song, Tony.
You start, because I actually have been saving a playlist for this.
Well, this one is going to shock the house here, because I've never mentioned this artist, and it's a solo female artist. She's the fabric of pop culture here for 30 years, but I've never mentioned that I am a fanboy of this person's music on this pod, and it's Mariah Carey's Don't Forget About Us.
Ooh,
that is a perfect song. And the reason why it's top of mind is I had a playlist going, and it wrapped up, and I think it was Spotify maybe trying to like inch their way to Mariah's Christmas song. So like, hey, we'll give you some, we'll ease the pain a little bit. And Don't Forget About Us came on. I'm like, oh, dude, Emancipation of Mimi album. It's perfect. It is a perfect pop, whatever music she is. I'm in on it. So there you go.
Well, all-time voice too, right? She's just, there's nobody quite like Mariah, and I like it. Let's add it to the canon.
And to balance it out, Hammer Smash Face is a perfect song too. There we go. I got my cred back.
He's got two in there. All right, there you go. I'm gonna go with Fleetwood Mac's The Chain.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah.
All time.
And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more here. I'm not gonna give you. We'll save them for Perfect Song 6 whenever that happens, because I've got my prep ready for that episode. So, but yeah, Fleetwood Mac's The Chain off Rumors, just amazing. And I don't think I need to say much else. Everybody knows it's one of the highest grossing albums of all time. So people know.
There's our contribution. All right, this week, let's get into it. Scarlet Street, band out of Cincinnati. You put them on my radar.
Yes, I did. And Will from Full Blown Meltdown put them on our radar when I saw it on X, Twitter, whatever the fuck it's called now. But he posted the album art, and I say it in the episode with the guys. And I was like, that's intriguing. I got to check it out. And as soon as I did, I was like, yep, this is definitely up my alley. We got to find a way to get Ben and Luke to join us. And sure enough, they were gracious enough to come on with us.
And so Ben is guitars and vocals. Luke is guitarist. This is how my memory stinks. They were a COVID band, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Post COVID.
They've known each other since high school, which was before COVID. but I think the in earnest started in 2021, 2022.
I love on this podcast, there's like lines drawn in the sand. Nate's always like, this is pre-iPhone, post-iPhone. He's that guy. And then it's always pre-COVID. It's just like these milestones. But dude, you sent this to me. You sent their latest album, No Alternative, to me, and I was in. It was one that I downloaded before a long flight, and I just kept it. I had it on repeat. It was in rotation. It was this. It was Citizen. It was just perfect. And I think, did I tell him that? Yeah, it's perfect music to fly to.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and it's one that I've probably listened to, 12 times since it came out in late October, and it's I hate putting my favorite of the year because it depends on the mood, and as Doug Robb so eloquently told us last week on the Perfect Songs episode, there's music for different moods, but this is one I've come back to the most, I think. So does that make it my favorite of the year? It might make it my favorite album of the year. So what does that say about where we are as a society? But because it's not the happiest record, but it's damn good. If you haven't checked it out, I would urge you to go listen to it.
Great album. And I don't think we knew this until the conversation, but they fit in with us beyond the music. They fit into our world, right? Crime and Stereo dudes were involved in producing, mastering, all that. So it's like you love it, and then there's that kind of folks involved in the whole ecosystem. It's like, okay, like this really tracks. But great guys. Like they love music. They're so thoughtful. If you look at their socials and their rollout plan, like we do talk about that quite a bit, it's so intentional and there's a lot of care, and it's a throwback for me. Like it almost, you have to be present to experience it. And you don't, like, we haven't got that since the early 2000s, really.
No, not like this. And it was an interesting way to roll that album out, and it's stuff that I wish more bands would do, but it does take time. It does take effort. It does take people buying into it too. And with the nature of, the world today and social media, it's hard to get the buy-in, but there was a lot of care put into the record, the rollout, and the whole, package. And I'm glad that we found it. And I'm hoping that this turns some people on to finding it as well.
So with that, are we getting into this?
Let's do it.
Luke and Ben from Scarlet Street.
All right, podheads, before we get into the episode, we wanted to call attention to our friends over at Iodine Recordings.
Hell yeah. Yeah, they're at it. I was gonna say they're back at it. They're still at it. They never left, although they did for years and years, but they're back, right? Casey and the team, they have another all-time album getting reissued. It's getting the full Iodine Recordings treatment. You saw it with Quicksand Slip a few years ago, 30th anniversary of that. Well, they're back with another Quicksand album, Manic Compression, another all-time record. I'm going to keep using that, but I can. It's Quicksand, it's Iodine. Yeah, they're reissuing on vinyl. It's been out of print for years and years and years. Check your Discogs. It's been a while. They're doing the damn thing, right? It's up for pre-order now.
Yeah, it's back. And we're huge fans of Iodine. We've had Casey on the podcast. We're huge fans of Quicksand. We've had Sergio on the podcast. Someday we'll get Walter. We are always excited to big up when stuff that we want in our collection is being repressed. And this is one of those times that it's like, oh my God, I'm going to click on the link right now and go order it. So if anybody wants to do that, it's in the show notes. Toss a link down there. But what a record, and what a time to, 30 years is crazy for this one. I mean, we did the Quicksand Slip 30 years, a couple of years ago, and now we're at Manic Compression hitting 30, which is wild.
Insane. 1995. I mean, we were 10 and 11. Yeah. We didn't know about them then, but we knew about them after that. But if you know Iodine and how they do these, they do it right. Like, this is the gold standard. So if you look, their US web store is through Death Wish. Their European web store is through Evil Greed. UK web store through Devil Dog, and Australia through Imprint. If you go there, they have a number of different versions. They have like the standard version, there's a deluxe edition, and then there's the deluxe edition with the hardcover book, all kinds of expanded artwork. It's like 64 pages. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It makes me personally never want to start a record label because I just couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't do it to this. Like, this is the Criterion edition, right? That's the movie equivalent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to get my hands on it. like I want to hold it, I want to open it, I want to look at all the pages, I want to put it on the platter. Like that's my favorite part about when these things happen is when I get my hands on one and can open it up and put it on the record player and just kind of live in that world for, you know, an hour or whatever long. So yeah, pretty exciting times, and we love the guys over. We love Casey over at Iodine, so we wanted to bring that to you guys here, the pod heads. That Meta Compression's getting repressed.
Amazing. We've talked about them over the years so many times, and I did some backtracking, and I think we talked about this in text. We were not around when this record came out, but it wasn't too far after that, and I know that because I have a burned copy. And back in the day, we all had in our high school group had CD booklets of CDs. Well, I made a copy of this from a friend in like 2001, 2002. And that's when I heard Thorn on My Side. I heard Landmine Spring, and I was in from the get-go. But it wasn't until years later that I even knew what the artwork looked like. You know?
Yeah,
it wasn't. It was just, that's what happened. Like, this was in the Napster era. Anyway.
Yeah.
We've been quicksand heads for like 20, almost 25 years at this point. So this is like a full circle. Like, I'm getting older. I deserve this. Like, I need the Criterion edition. Like, I've graduated from the burn copy, and I did go on and buy it on CD. Like, I do have the CD. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. So it's out there. It's going to be out there real soon. Pre-orders up. Go order it on Iodine's website. We'll toss a link down below. And yeah, I'm excited for this, man. I can't wait to have it in my hands. And like I said, just live with it for an hour and look through the pages and see all the Criterion edition, as you said, care and work that gets put into these things.
The staple, the benchmark. You should strive to do everything the way Iodine's doing it. And shout out Casey and Iodine for keeping this alive. Like, if it wasn't for them, would this have even happened? Who knows, you know? But shout out to those guys. And link the show notes. With that, we're getting into the episode. See you on the other side. All right, we got Luke and Ben from Scarlet Street. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is one we kind of hit us out of nowhere fairly recently. We were just kind of looking on the internet, always looking on, you know, X and Instagram and finding bands and trying to find stuff that we'd never heard before, and you guys popped up. I think Will from Full Blown Meltdown had posted the album art, and we've gone back and forth with him for a while now on X, and I was like, I gotta check that out. That album art kind of drew me in, and immediately it was like, oh yeah, I'm in on this. Like, Anthony, check this out. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm in on this. Let's see if they want to chat. Let's do this.
Yeah, I was on a flight to Australia, and I just had it on repeat. Great airplane music. If is that a good cosign? Great airplane music.
Maybe.
I don't know.
What's the deal with airplane music?
But I had it on repeat. I was rocking it the whole time.
Excellent. Well, it's kind of astounding when people kind of come back to this multiple times. I guess that's kind of what we wanted, was something a little bit more than just like, oh, that's a fun hook. So that's really cool. That's awesome.
I think that the moral of the story is tell your friends about music, right? Like, word of mouth works. You know, if you've got somebody you trust that knows music and you like what they put out there, then yeah, go listen to what they recommend. It's worth it.
I think it's a good endorsement of kind of tastemakers. I think that's kind of what we've sort of surrendered a lot of like choice to the Spotify algorithm or whatever. It's really awesome that like people are finding us through. I mean, Will's been huge for many bands, obviously, but you know, I think it's people check out his recommendations because he doesn't usually miss. And yeah, man, having actual people kind of recommend your music is like, what a concept. Who would have thought?
I know. In other words, Spotify, you got to pay for like the AI DJ. I'm like, get the hell out of my face with that. Like, give me a buddy's recommendation all day over that.
Is that a paid feature, the DJ thing?
I think it is. I pay for Spotify, and they were like targeting me, like, hey, for, you know, extra months for whatever. I'm like, I think I already pay for this shit.
We weirdly get a lot of plays from that. I tried it once and it was so creepy. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just your name. I don't like that.
Yeah, it feels very like it's supposed to be radio, and they're trying to like talk to you like they know you, and I'm like, you don't like. Oh, we're gonna play this stuff that you had on like in the background. Like, you must really like this. I'm like, well, no, I it just happened to pop up because of your algorithm, not because I wanted to listen to it. So
Yeah, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
Exactly.
I personally ditched the Spotify like 2 years ago. Not for any other reason than I don't know. It's technically like a slightly worse program, I'll be honest. But I don't know. There's something kind of nice about like you can add your own downloaded music from like Bandcamp if you've got a Mac, obviously, onto the iTunes kind of upload and then take that with you. So there is kind of an element of actually having your own stuff, and that's kind of nice, and that's kind of what drew me in, and I haven't left since, even if I do think it's slightly worse.
well, and at some point the rug's gonna get pulled on all of it, right? And you're not gonna have the stuff. Like I try to buy a record if it's something that I dig, I will buy it on vinyl, and then I've got the download code or whatever, and that's the world I want to live in, is where I own it, so that it doesn't go away from me when it ultimately is $60 a month, $100 a month, and the money's still not going to artists.
Ugh.
I actually ended up making a blackout iPod this past month for that very reason. I just thought to myself, like, a lot of my favorite albums aren't even on streaming anymore. And what if all of this disappeared tomorrow?
Yeah, man.
It's a good backup. And that's why, I mean, like Tony said, we collect cassette tapes too, which I saw you guys put out the No Alternative on cassette. So I might have to cop that.
We're looking in, and this is probably, I don't know if we'll keep the secret. I'll let you know later. Possibly a vinyl coming soon. We're really
nice.
It feels wrong to not put this one out on vinyl.
I'd get one. I'd grab one tomorrow. So yeah.
And the biggest conundrum with that is always picking the color.
Yeah,
that's what sells 75% of vinyl.
Oh yeah. Tony will buy 5 copies.
My wife will love this when she listens to it in the car with me before we put it out, and she's like, another one? Like, we don't have any room for the ones we have sitting over here. You're really gonna buy it? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Sorry.
Oh,
so
boy.
You guys are from Cincinnati. I don't know about you, Tony. I've been to Cincinnati once, and we went down to Newport, Kentucky, which is right there, right? And we attended this event called Get a Fest. Are you familiar with that?
I am quite yes, I'm quite in tune with Get a Fest.
Yeah,
Nice.
we happened to be in town when that was going off. And for anyone that doesn't know, it's like a German sausage type of food, right? Is that basically what it is? And there's a whole fest centered around it. It's like a fair, basically, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Are you guys based on Maine?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Pennsylvania at all?
Some, yeah. I've been to Philly once, twice, I think, in Pittsburgh once. So yeah, some.
So anybody who's a fan of Scrapple, the Geta may be a little familiar. Same kind of concept, yeah. Very big in PA. For full disclosure, so Luke lives in Columbus, Ohio, which is actually 2 hours away from Cincy. I do live in the heart of downtown Cincy. I have more pride over my neighborhood than I have over my country, but Luke, you have spent quite a lot of time in Cincinnati.
Yes.
You've got some history here.
Yeah, I've been there a lot since I was a kid. I used to play in a lot of bands down there. So just one more band down there. It feels like home.
Nice.
Did you think Get a Fest would get mentioned tonight?
No.
Nope.
No, not a fucking chance.
Yeah, I took the under, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
Since betting's so hot, I know no bet gambling terminology. I hope that's right.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, our one of our good friends and former roommates went to Xavier, so we heard a lot about Cincy for a long time, and he brought home Skyline Chili once. We had that. We've been down the Cincy rabbit hole a little bit.
What'd you think? You had to tell me.
It was a snow day, I think, Anthony. We were living together, right? Probably 15 years ago now, and I don't remember hating it, so it wasn't bad.
It was better in person.
Yeah,
better in person.
You had it there, right?
Than the can, which I think it is probably standard for most things, but it was okay.
So Gary Sione in Crime and Stereo, Sound Acres, he had never even heard of the shit. And when we were recording the first album, I was like telling him about this. I was like, yeah, man, we got this thing called Cincy Chili. He's like, what's so special about it? It's just chili, right? It's like, no, you put it on spaghetti. Take a look at this. He Google images it and he goes, why the fuck would anybody eat this?
Yeah.
Were you offended? Were you
It
offended?
tastes
or-
better than it looks.
This is exactly what you expect. You know,
Yeah.
like nobody likes this shit. There's like a article from like 15 years ago about the 50 states food ranked first to last, and they rank 1 through, I forget what the top 50 were. They do 50, and then when they get to 50, it's just like a dumpster, like literal, just a dumpster. And this is 51 Cincinnati chili.
Wow.
Oh man, somebody
Yeah.
had an axe to grind there. Clearly,
Yeah, so we're used to it. Yeah,
yeah.
It's,
It's not
Well,
Maine
I-
lobster. I'll tell you. I mean, that's
I don't
our
know, I
claim
eat
to
it like
fame.
every other day. So
Well, the music out of Cincy's better, right? When did you guys start? 2022?
so pretty much they're like in earnest. Yeah, 2022,
Right on.
2021, 2022. We recorded the first album in 2021, but it was like this. It was, what was that, November 1st through November 22nd, 2021, and we had like 4 songs before that. Which, some fun history is, it started out just me. I kind of was a solo act. I took some inspiration from, like, Evan Weiss with Into It Over It, when he was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna, have one drummer and I'll do all the instruments. But when it came time to like kind of record some demos, I actually went up to Luke's house in Columbus, and I think through, like, what was it, 4 to 6, it was like over a weekend or something in like December. And this was before the pandemic. We kind of pieced together a wild ass little 5-song demo or something like that.
Yeah.
Recorded part of it in the gas station that Luke worked at. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
I got a lot of questions about that, but I'll let that slide. I get it.
Yeah.
The acoustics in that bathroom, man, they're perfect.
It was the beer cave.
Oh, that works. That makes sense. Yeah.
Climate controlled.
Sure, in that sense, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, 2022 was about the time Luke joined. I think that was really, when it was like, okay, this is a band. This isn't just some shit we do to pass time. We're taking it pretty seriously from that point on, which is cool, because I think this is an incredibly taxing and expensive thing to do. You might as well, be serious about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Luke, you mentioned you played in other bands too. So you guys were musicians before that. You were doing other stuff. When did you know that it was something you wanted to do on this scale, like versus just playing around with friends?
Well, when you're in your late teens, early 20s, and you have affinity for music, you always entertain that fantasy, and you go after it for a certain degree, and then you find a situation where it's like, okay, this is a little sliver of, like, even if it's not like cocaine and champagne, like, it's like, I'm doing it, like, I'm doing this. I'm driving to the shows. I'm getting on stage with these guys I love and playing music he wrote, and whatever else it is, it feels great.
Do you guys know each other? Like,
Oh, yeah.
have you guys known each other for years?
Oh
We
yeah.
met freshman year of high school.
Do you find that helps? Like, so I don't know. I'm guessing 10 plus years ago. Like, I got to assume that helps rather than just meeting someone off Craigslist. Be like, hey, you want to be in a band?
It definitely
band seeking band member. That type of thing.
Yeah, I think because I've definitely tried that with a bunch of strangers before. I haven't really done the Craigslist thing. It's usually I just, like, I wouldn't trust like somebody just purely off the internet, but like somebody who's like, I know somebody, like my buddy was playing drums or whatever, and because that was, I think for me, that was kind of the thing, is we did the demo, the 5-song demo, and after that point it was like, okay, I think I told Luke, like, if 30 people hear this, that'll be incredible. And like, it wasn't anything crazy. It didn't light the world on fire, obviously, but it was like 1,000 people downloaded it on Bandcamp, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, cool. Like, maybe I should try to play these songs out live, and then the task is always finding the drummer. And you find some crazy people through friends, man, and it's like it's weird because like sometimes people will just be like, you'll be a completely trustworthy person and they'll be like, I know somebody who, was in a band for a little bit and they're like, looking for a band and, shit unravels like 3 weeks in and you start to like people get a little too comfortable and it's wild. I mean,
or word of mouth goes bad.
Yeah.
A prime example of when it can go bad. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, my buddy's buddy or like my coworker. It's like, okay, maybe they own a drum set, but they actually want to be in a band.
Yeah.
Like, how good are they? Do they like the same music? All that.
That's the balancing act, man. Is it's one thing to be good and it's another thing to like the same music, but that's like so they have to both happen, and so you have to be so picky.
Yeah.
Because if you like, I don't know, if you accept mediocrity, then it is just kind of a thing you do in somebody's basement, and that's it. And that's cool for people, but I don't know. I think we have like a lot to say. So
well, and and that's the other thing, right? Like, it's not like you're just putting together, kind of throwaway tracks that don't have a message behind them, that don't have a theme throughout. I mean, the No Alternative certainly has that, but and I think that your first record does too, in a different way. But it's very like you need to be on that page if you're gonna make this music, right? It's not just, hey, yeah, well, we're gonna mess around and play a dive bar and have 5 songs about beer. Like, that's not the case.
Cover band.
Yeah. Which is funny because I mean, growing up, one of my favorite bands was the Dopamines, but I don't know. They had some hidden meanings in those songs. Let's be real. But I don't know. Luke, you want to touch on that one? I feel like I'm hogging all the airtime here.
God, no, you good. After being in a lot of bands with like what was it? I was in a ska band where the trombone player never practiced. So, like, he would show up to the show, but when it came time for him to play his parts, it would always sound pretty bad. But, sometimes you make up for it in other ways, because one time he coated the bell of the horn in duct tape and rubber cement and lit it on fire. So, like,
Wow.
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's like little advantages. Like,
leave it to Ohio, man. Ohio's on a different fucking level.
I think he took that from the Flaming Tsunamis. It worked though. What was it? It just like it takes a while to get a combination of people that are professional enough to where you can rely on them and they play well.
Very fair.
It's kind of like having a face for radio, but it's like having a skill set for a basement band.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to. You're a good guy, but
he means well.
yeah, he means well. He's good. He's all right. What do you think of him? He's okay as a person.
Yeah.
So I mean, like finding 4 people to hang out with is already a pretty tough challenge. Finding 4 people who listen to vaguely the same music you do. Okay, cut that group in like to a 10th, and then. Okay, those 4 people also happen to play, and this is more so me being hard on myself. That don't take this the wrong way, Luke. Who can play their instruments semi-competently,
and agree on the output, right?
Yeah,
and that's all that has to happen, and the funnel has to go into the output. So,
exactly,
like you guys, was the sound when you guys started? Was it always like, hey, like this is the world we want to live in, or was there any, boundaries? Like I always go like to Tony and I with this podcast. There's no boundaries. We like so much music. Like we're never going to pigeonhole ourselves. Whatever we feel like talking about, we're going to talk about it, and that's the only boundary for us. How about you guys?
I think you have a lot of structure going into it, because like by the time I joined, like once the album release show was out of the way, like sure we toured a bit, but I think you were pretty immediately like, next record's coming up and here's my idea for how it's going to be, and I'm like, all right, let's do that. And then we just kind of entered Discord land.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool, like from the inside, like looking from the inside out, kind of, because I think I had a very specific idea on what I wanted the second album to sound like, and it was terrifying to kind of just be like, guys, I really want to go in this kind of dark, like heavier direction, and I don't know if you guys are going to dig that. And kind of watching them just go and make their own space in that was astounding. Like because the ease at which everybody did it.
Oh yeah.
Like I am of the four of us, I am like I live in post-hardcore land. Like I love Glassjaw, and I love all these Long Island and Jersey hardcore bands and stuff like that. Like I worship the ground that Thursday walks on, and I don't think the other three are anywhere. Hey, you guys kind of. I mean, Luke, you definitely come from like you were the one who kind of showed me Black Flag as a kid, but like I don't know. I took that and I was like that way. And you have always been pretty expansive in what you listen to, and
I'm kind
I've
of
always
the
been
boomer of the group.
yeah, a little bit, but
Nothing
I
wrong
don't
with
know.
that. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, like for real, you bring a lot to the table, and I had a very any point being is I had a very focused kind of view on what I was like. This is the direction I'm going to. If I may, I'm going to lead us this way real quick. I don't know if it'll be a detour or if this is the direction we're going or what, but let's give this a try if you guys don't mind. And weirdly, nobody did, and like I said, the way they kind of adapted to that thought was like crazy because I did not think they'd go for it.
How close was the vision to the output? What ended up being the output?
I would say pretty close.
We've got all of our demos that, I mean, almost none of them have vocals. I think it was pretty damn close. I mean, which is crazy because I can't say that for the first album. In some ways, I think the first album was a lot more like pop punky than we initially wanted. But I mean, that was our first time, and that was recorded as a 3-piece. That was before Luke was in the band. Which I mean, I think I was like feeding you daily updates.
Yeah, you
But yeah, I think it was pretty close. I mean,
yeah. It was like 90% sticking to the demos pretty much until we were at Sound Acres and Gary came in with his and I was so thankful for that because we had been incubating these ideas for like how long did we spend on that? Like a year and a half.
so if we kind of look at it like we finished recording. Oh god, I'm not going to go that far back. We played the album release show for the first album on it was the 25th of February 2023. Pretty much so within 3 months we had already started writing the second album.
Yeah.
So yeah, like pretty similarly. So let's see, like let's say June 2023 to that by June 2024 we were done. We were done recording. Yeah. So we incubated for like a year.
And then we took him to Gary, and he was just hearing these for the first time. That was one thing I really liked was he refused to listen to demos. He was very staunchly against that. And after he had heard us play these songs, he gave a ton of great quality input, and some even we had to be we have to think about this for a sec. And sometimes our ideas originally stuck as they were, and a lot of times Gary's suggestions were just straight up yeah, I can't even say nothing. That's just straight up better.
Well, it's good to have somebody like Gary that you are comfortable with that too, right? Like you can't have a producer or somebody else on the creative side that isn't necessarily in the band but is definitely there and part of what's going on. If you don't see eye to eye, it's like we can't do this, and you can't take those chances that maybe you would want to take or they maybe suggest in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I can't say enough good things about Gary.
Yeah, I mean there was definitely, I wouldn't say they were contentious. I think there were so many moments that were like we're fighting to make this song better. We just aren't in 100% agreement on what will make it better. But it's like every time Gary and I were like, "No, dude, Gary, I don't want to do that." I knew he was still saying, "Well, we should do this. We should bring this back, or we should shorten this, or maybe make this melody, a little catchier," because he thought it would be a better song. So yeah, I mean, like at any point, any suggestion he's throwing out there, you are just like, yeah, that's. I mean, I get where you're going with that. Different route we're gonna take, and usually he was right. But
I remember Millionaires was the biggest sticking point.
Yeah, so we call it Millionaires because that's what it was. The working track was was it Temporarily Embarrassed Millionaires?
Yeah, for
But
corporate vendors.
it ended up becoming Corporate Memphis.
Great
Yeah.
track. Yeah, that's a
That-
standout for me.
That was like a 4-day argument.
Well, it's one of those things you gotta like trust the resume, and there's a reason why you went to him in the first place, and that would be, I'll tell you one thing, Tony, you can relate to this probably. Like, it's kind of my way, and Tony, it's kind of your way. It's like, but we know where we mix. You throw someone else in, even if they're more experienced or like more talented, it'd be like, come on, that's not what I don't want to do that. Even if you know it's better.
That's not the ethos of what you're trying to do. Yeah. No, I get it. Like, it's not the soul of, it may be better. And there's so much to be said, because anybody can be talented enough to make something better than somebody else. There's always going to be a best person. Somebody's better than somebody else. I was certainly not the best guitarist, certainly not the best. I'm probably not even the best singer in that room at any given point. But just me, I knew we had a vision, and every time somebody goes in there with an ethos or a feeling that's really powerful, I think that's the way to go. And there's so many times when there's so many times in that where it was like Gary's just gonna like give me a minute, and he just start doing something, and you'd be like, what the fuck is he doing right now? And then within 15 minutes you're like, okay, there it is. And it's moments like that, I think, that really make records, just because there's a strong fucking soul behind that, for that somebody was just like, no, shut the fuck up and let me do this real quick. And then when you shut the fuck up and let them do it, you're like, god damn, I'm glad we did.
Yeah, that give and take is huge, because the dance of giving ideas space enough to grow into whatever they're going to be, but also having the decisiveness to shut down something quick that's not going to go nowhere. Or even having like that's something I appreciate about both Ben and Gary during the process, is like, Ben, I'm sure you can remember all the Rodgers and Hammerstein shit I was throwing out for The Storm is Here. It's like, I had been incubating so many ideas that I had grown attached to a lot of them, like the My Baby shit. So by the time I threw them out in the studio, it was very nice to have someone just be like, nope. But then
No, that's not it.
It worked.
Well, the thing is, it might not be, it might be good. It just might not fit that song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And on the flip side, there's so many moments where I am really glad I shut the fuck up, because I think one of the best moments on the whole album is there was a hole here, the last track on the album, and there were so many times where Luke or somebody would kind of pitch an idea, and I would be fairly quick to be like, I'm not seeing it, man. I'm sorry. I don't. I mean, we can work with this, but I'm not really sure where this is going to go. That song in particular, it's like I knew it had to fit somewhere, but I was just like, I sat on that, and like you kept kind of saying like, do you have a melody in mind or anything? Do you have like lyrics in mind? And I was just kind of like, I don't, because I don't know what to do with this, but I know it's good, but I don't want to say no. And I mean, we sat on that for, pretty much so until recording time.
Just about.
And I am so happy with how that one came out, and I'm so happy I'm so happy I didn't say nah, because again, like letting just somebody kind of work their magic is it's amazing. I think I don't know if it's the studio that brings it out or what, but there are so many moments like that are just phenomenal.
And I mean, it's a little bit different than the rest of the record, that song, right? There's a little bit, it fits certainly, and it's the last track you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's an interesting way to wrap up what you just listened to, and I'm glad that you kept the idea and kept that execution of that, because it was different than what you got from the previous 26 or 7 minutes. How long were you guys in the studio?
So we did two 2-week stints, so total 1 month, but it was split up in halves. And the first half was in like April, and then the second half was at the end of June. And yeah, it was it's weird when you split it up like that because you almost feel like it goes by so fast. I mean, 2 weeks is a hell of a long time to put like everything in your personal life on hold, but to like focus on work it's weird. I mean, it's 2 work weeks.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, and you're, I mean, like I told you guys in pre-production here, we both have full-time jobs too, and the energy you're trying to put into the creative thing, you can't just take a month away, like it's because you've got life to live too, right?
Yeah. It is pretty crazy, like hearing about a lot of the like artists that I've grown up adoring have, going in, at least in like the 2000s. This is more of a recent phenomenon, but like being in the studio for like 4 months, I'm just like, God damn, must be nice.
No kidding.
You could come with nothing and do the whole thing there versus having to like batch out songs and be ready to go once you get there because time is money, right?
The time for development, I can only dream.
I mean, like reading about like the Beatles just essentially being like going into the studio like it's a shift. I mean, they literally treated it like that. Like I'm just sitting there going like, yeah, I could write these fucking songs too if I had all day.
Well, it's funny. You hear these stories where, yeah, we were rushed to get this over the finish line. It's like you had 2 months. You were there for 2 months, and
what'd you do for the first month?
Yeah, and you had the thing written before you went in. And I've never recorded albums, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. But it's funny how perspective can be.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I think I don't know. We live in a really weird era where I think the prospect of like Luke and I getting signed to some label that's like, yeah, man, we'll give you $4 million in 6 months to work this out is just that's not even a thought that crosses our mind. So in our mind, we're like, all right, if we can't get something for fucking $45.23, we're gonna go record this in the basement. So I think I think anytime you are allotted a creative place without any of your personal things interfering, or at least as little as possible, like you're going to treat that like it's the last thing you're ever going to do. And that's kind of how we went into the studio with this. Is I think at one point I actually, when I called up Gary and said like, hey man, we're going to come back and record this with you, and I told him, I was like, I'm honestly going to go into this with the thought that this may be the last Scarlet Street record. I hopefully that's not the truth at all, but like, what if? We don't know. It's so hard to fucking get cash and time to do this. And he was so dumbfounded by that thought. He's like, no, you want to make this to build up the next record. I was like, yeah, in a perfect world, sure, yeah. But like, it's just it is so hard to do what we do, in the sense of we got to pay for our own living expenses and all of that shit,
right?
Yeah. I mean, like we're anything whoever's listening right now, we also pay for that ourselves. And I mean, what if somebody came up to you and said like, hey, can you just go do what people consider a hobby for a month? And nobody can do that.
No. We're lucky to get a night a week and then maybe a little bit of time when this free time, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, when you get in there, you treat it like, I think we were all four of us were like fucking militant about, okay, it's 9 a.m. Let's go. Let's, we're going to do guitar tracks first, that we'll do bass between these times. And, nothing really got off the rails too much, at least, when we were actually working. But, yeah, you count your fucking lucky stars if you get studio time.
Oh yeah, if you get to be there, you try to make every second count.
Especially the money you're spending. Yeah.
I was gonna ask who's the tech head in the band, because
Rob.
Tony. Oh, it's not even you, Ben?
I mean, I don't have the largest pedal board. Let me put it that way. Somehow Rob does.
Well, I was even thinking beyond that, like more IT, because Tony sent the QR codes that you guys posted, and we went down the rabbit hole. And I was like, someone's a geek. Someone in the Scarlet Street camp is a fucking geek, and we loved it, guys. Like it weirdly gave us a throwback to like enhanced CDs back in the day. Like a lot of those had Easter eggs. A lot of those, like even the old CKY, we just had the CKY guys on. Even the old CKY DVDs had little secret Easter eggs, and I feel like that's missing. And you know why it's missing? Because it takes care and it takes intent and time. And I just don't think a lot of people are willing to do that. And Tony, you sent looked like the phone tree.
Yeah, I was looking through you guys' Facebook and saw the phone tree layout, and I was like,
yeah.
all right, I gotta, because we like both went down the rabbit hole during our meeting before talking to you about like where does this take me? All right, it takes me to here. Now it takes me to here. Like, what is happening? This is amazing.
I wonder if I can
fucking loved it, guys.
I wonder if I can
it.
bring that up and share my screen, because that took me fucking forever, dude.
So that was you, Ben. That was
yeah, that took me a very long time to do. And I think I would come home from work, take care of my mortal needs, and then I would spend 2 hours until midnight fucking sketching out like, okay, like what if we did this fucking weird surveillance video? Like how are we going to get them to call the number? Oh, we'll just splash the number for 4 seconds on the screen. Yeah, it was a ton of late nights and then weird thoughts and trying to play into people's paranoia and shit like that. And
so for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, how would you describe it? This was like a way to guerrilla market the album.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we called it was an ARG. What does that stand for, Luke? I always forget.
Alternate reality game?
Yeah.
Right
So augmented reality game, alternate, something like that. It's a term for essentially like an internet Easter egg hunt, but it has like real world elements. And I just a lot of this album's themes are kind of paranoia about like current events and technology and whatnot. So I was like, how to do a whole song and dance on like TikTok or something to promote an album this is the theme of get off of social media, it's terrible. And then to go on social media and be like, listen to Scarlet Street, it just felt gross. So we were kind of trying to cook up some ideas on like, how do we get people on our wavelength to dig this? Because we could sit there and we could blast on social media, even if it's hypocritical, even if we know it's hypocritical. We could sit there and do that. But even if we were successful at that, how do we know we're getting the people? And because you can get everybody, you can't make everybody like your shit. So we thought, if we can find people who are willing to do some weird fucking like internet scavenger hunt,
it's like an escape room. I think I called it a virtual escape room.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And to play into that, there's people who kind of feel paranoid about the internet and the implications of late stage capitalism and stuff like that. Then maybe when we've put all the time in to make this and kind of show like, hey, we're on your wave, like maybe they'll at the other side of this be like, sick, we'll check out this album, or whatever this entity is pushing out here. So I don't know, I thought that was I want to do something different. I think that's the same thing with all 4 of us. If we don't maybe listen to the same music, if we don't maybe want to write the same thing, I think we all 4 want to have a message that's important and different than what everybody else is doing.
Ben, did you watch the TV show Mr. Robot?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay. It was on, I think, USA. Rami Malek, Christian Slater. That first season's epic. The whole show is good, but the first season's epic. And there was a lot of this around that show on the internet after the fact, while they were promoting it and stuff. And it took me back to that. It took me till right now to remember it, but it took me back to that. And I can only imagine, Luke, how did the rest of you feel when Ben was pitching this idea?
Well, we loved it. I mean, just in general, like Ben takes care of, so just being straight up, Ben takes care of so much of that stuff. So like to see that come out, we were just like, okay. That's awesome.
I'm sort of like the resident schizophrenic. I just like I will just peep in and be like, hey guys, I just like made a fucking call tree. Like, by the way, give it a try. And I'll like sit and be like, okay, like now call this number real quick. And luckily, if anybody's awake, he'll be like, yeah, that's weird, but I like it. What if we have a bunch of very terribly AI generated faces with fake what was it, fake testimonies about the album that aren't about the album at all. Yeah. Shit like that we plastered everywhere. And I mean, hell, I printed out what, like 100 of those QR codes, and
Yeah, that was cool.
and instead of you guys being like, this is dumb, you were like, let's go around OTR and plaster these everywhere.
Bruh, I'd do that over like traditional marketing any day, because yeah, you're right. Boy, do I not like cameras and pictures most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's different, right? It's not the same thing that everybody's doing, which, I mean, we've fallen victim to it. We have to promote on social media. I hate having to do it, but I want people to, like, ultimately I want people to listen to your record, right? So we have taken an interest in the music. We like it. We ask you guys on. Cool. All right. How do we get people to find that? And finding a different way to get people engaged is so hard nowadays. So to do that it's awesome. It's a breath of fresh air. Even though there have been iterations of it, it was cool to see somebody doing it today, because you don't see it a lot.
Yeah,
I think the children yearn to be offline. Like I think they just want to, like, everybody is just constantly on. So doing something off is, at least off social media, maybe not offline, but I think people might dig that, and that's kind of why we went that route.
Well, the track Mid-Century Modern Wholesale Furniture, that was one that, and Tony and I discussed it the other day, which is like, it kind of stops you dead in your tracks and you're listening, and it hit me where it's like, this is my day to day, and I've somehow accepted it. And it's not even, we've all accepted it. And it doesn't, like, why? How did we get here? Right? That's the saying. How the hell did we get here? And it kind of took your breath away. Like, it stopped me dead in my tracks listening to it. I'm like, something's gonna change. I don't know what, but something's gonna change. But I was also waiting for vocals to come in. When they didn't come in, I was like, they dedicated that to that, and I love that.
Yeah, that was everything about that was there was a lot of symbolism in that on purpose, and that was very deliberate. And that was, again, that song was another one of those, like, me like texting the group like midnight and be like, guys, okay, I got an idea real quick. And
is the Scarlet Street group chat pretty lit? Is it just blowing up all hours of the night?
Yeah,
Tents cranking Mountain Dews,
like half of the other two who aren't here work night shift. So yeah, I mean, I'll wake up to the fucking weirdest, most bizarre shit like that. But yeah, Mid-Century was that was sort of my baby on the album.
Oh yeah, that was your baby.
And I don't know, it's kind of like the ambition. I feel like I'm glad you're like what's the I don't know, something's got to change. I don't know what. Like that was kind of like the whole theme of this, is like, we're not offering really solutions here. We just I at least want us to acknowledge we got a fucking problem.
Right, 100%.
And yeah, that one. And if I may, that one comes from a fucking weird moment that happened in 2019 or 2018, sometime around that. I used to have this phone, this smartphone. Samsung has like Bixby or some, like their equivalent of Siri. And I just set an alarm, like anybody does. And when it was finished, instead of it like playing the chime, it would do that. Like, here are today's headlines. Like playing this, it was horrifying. But instead of it playing like, I wanted kind of like a funeral march for that. It would play like this peaceful, soothing music, and then tell you like 400 orphans were, boiled alive or something. And I'm just like, and I did the same exact thing you did, Anthony. I was just like, what? This is normal. This is so normal.
Up. Yeah.
What in the fuck is? What are we doing? It is. It's just like, it could be any day's headlines, and hey Alexa, give me the headlines, and she just reads you all this heinous shit that's happening, and you're like, why?
98% of those, I literally just scrolled through the news subreddit on Reddit and copied and pasted. I kid you not. There's 4 or so in there that I just made up. And again, that track has a lot of symbolism, because you don't know if the headline's real or if it's fucking made up.
Absolutely.
I mean,
does it repeat at the end a little bit too?
Like the
right.
What's that?
The headlines.
Oh, the time of the day repeats, but yeah, no, all the headlines are
Oh, the
different.
headlines. No, I don't think so.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
because that would have been like a second level nerd. It's like you're programmed. You're like, am I hearing this? This is the same thing.
Luke and I went back and forth on how it should end. I mean, like you
Oh yeah,
suggested,
we
what if it
had a
just
lot of
cuts right when it says
hard.
the time? And I was like, no, because you take that shit with you throughout the day,
That was
So
their aesthetic
we,
decision.
yeah. So I mean, like even that, and then the no rain thing is there's just no fucking relief to this. It's gonna happen again. It's There was the sad part about that was I was hoping the album would be out by September 2024. I don't know why I thought that was gonna happen, but
Well, it
Oh,
works
that's
though
right.
because it's perpetuated, right? I mean, it came out in October of this year, 2025, and this will probably come out right at the end of 2025, but it still fits, and it will sadly probably still fit next October, right? Like that's the shitty thing.
yeah. It's just gonna get worse.
So No Alternative came out, 2 or 3 months ago at this point. We're trying records. I'm actually looking at the track list. Palo Alto into Hail, all time back to back songs. I love those two. I love Hail stripped down. Palo Alto, I love the whole vibe of it. Like the bendy guitars, as I call them, because I don't know how else to describe them, but I love it. And then you get into mid-century after that, and then Storm is Here, Corporate Memphis. Corporate Memphis, another standout track. Tone, what are your go-tos?
I'm gonna pull it up now. This is not me
Putting
being
you on
not
the spot.
prepared. Yeah, me being not prepared. I love the opening track. I think that's awesome. I love the name of it as well. Storm is Here is awesome. And what was the one I storied like 2 weeks ago when we first started our online dialogue? I know I put one up. I can't remember the name of it. It might have been Corporate Memphis.
The Warning
Yeah.
Sounds? Maybe?
No, it was later in the album. It might have been Corporate Memphis. But yeah, I mean, I've listened to it just kind of as its own piece for, I mean, it's been out 2 months, right? Roughly.
Yeah, about
Probably a month now, roughly.
Jeez.
Since I saw the post and was like, all right, I'm gonna check that. Oh, holy shit! And I think I immediately texted you, Anthony. So yeah, it's like I wrote on X. I think it scratched an itch sonically for me that nobody had been doing in this moment. I'd heard other bands do similar sounding things, but this is one that I was like, all right, I got a new band that I need to go find out a bunch more about. So
I think like kind of hitting something that we weren't really hearing ourselves. I mean, like a lot of the theme on this is kind of dissatisfaction, or even like dissatisfaction's a little weak, like frustration with the state of things. And I think even the sound itself kind of hints to that, just because not only is I don't think we've got really any bands that are in our smaller scene that are really talking about important things other than a few. Like I'm going to shout out Career Day. I think they have always been social issue forward. It's a really great punk band that I think everybody should check out. I will never stop shouting them out. But like the sound too, I think like it's funny because I've never really thought of us as a heavy band, and like then when we get thrown in the mix with this, everybody treats us like we're fucking Slayer. And it's like,
Well, it's like it's played with Many Eyes.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a mix.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, but yeah, and I almost feel like we were too light for that. So it's just like that is like a frustrating thing too. Is like with this album out, I'm like now I have no idea who we call home. Like the last album, I think it was very pop punk, and a lot of bands right now are kind of doing that. Pop punk sound. It's kind of reminiscence of the 2000s and stuff like that, and like we're kind of leaving that behind. And now I'm like, we feel homeless.
Ben, the layered vocals, are those both you?
Yeah, I do
Right
most of the vocals, although live, honestly, I don't. When we do these live,
Yeah, where do you go? Which way do you go with them?
I always want to go high. I
Yeah.
always want to scream, like I always want to do the unhinged crazy shout. And Luke is so much better at hitting those high notes than I am.
I think like 2 or 3 spots where I have parts. I think it's like Mazda, Bears and Sharks, and Hail.
Oh yeah. You do the counter melody in
At
the
the end
outro
there.
of Hail. Yeah, that was fucking great. I was so happy when you did that.
Hail was fun. Hail was a lot of fun. That was actually what resulted from what corporate Memphis began as.
Oh wow. Who does the piano? Who's doing the piano in here?
The person who probably knows the least about piano in the whole band. I actually did the fucking piano for that.
Yeah, that was all you.
I was gonna have you do it, Luke, because I was so fucking scared of recording piano.
But I had just learned the part and you already knew it, so you played it better than I did.
Yeah, I've never. So full disclosure, I've never learned to play an instrument. I mean, I guess I play an instrument, but like nobody sat down. It's like, here's a G grade. Like to this day, Luke will be like, "Oh, you're hitting an A there." I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means, dude. I feel like we would write so much faster as a band if I just would take
If
like
you
2
just
minutes.
knew what an A chord was, but come on.
Yeah.
So album's been out for like what, 2 or 3 months. How's the reaction been? Because like you said early on, if 30 people paid attention, you'd be stoked. Obviously, way more people are in touch with it now. But how's it been post release?
It's been pretty crazy. I mean, like seeing mid-century modern land on, and I could verifiably bring this up on a radio station is fucking wild. Like Kitchener, Ontario, wherever the hell you are. Thanks, but like, yeah, it's in so many ways it's been 15 times bigger than the last one was. And I'm in a way I'm not surprised. I think this is like objectively a better sounding album. I think it's better recorded, better mixed, and all that. But like, I to see like people kind of be like, damn, this was necessary. I'm like, okay, cool. That's exactly what I like. This is the album we needed around this time. I was like, in one way, it's like awesome because I'm like, dude, anybody saying that about anything you've made is wild. And the other hand, I was like, yeah, I kind of made that on purpose. Like, like, good. Because that was the goal, was like,
So it landed.
Yeah.
That's
To
cool.
see that's pretty crazy. You hope for that, but to see it is something different.
How about you, Luke? How do you feel? A couple months in.
Feel great. Honestly, just to have done it and see that people have listened to it and like it is wholly satisfying in a way that is real good for your heart.
We can relate to that on a small scale with the podcast. Every now and then we have an episode go nuts and we're like, cool. People check this out. Awesome. Love it.
Again, it's word of mouth. That is the best way to get out. You know what I mean? Because even if you get picked up by a news outlet, people are on to the next thing. They don't even they'll read the headline. They won't even read the write up, and then the good chance they won't even listen to the episode. But I got to ask. I meant to ask earlier. So this is the highs coming out of the latest release. What was the first show like? First Scarlet Street. When I say first Scarlet Street show, what comes to mind? Did it go off? Was there no one there?
Like the first Scarlet Street post release, or
No,
just
ever.
Dialing it
Ever.
way back. Dialing it back way back to 4 years ago.
Oh man, yeah, back in 2022, they were pretty fucking sparse.
I love asking this question because sometimes it's like all our friends came and there were like 100 people, and I'm like, 100 people? I don't even know 100 people.
Yeah, if I don't remember it, man, that's not good.
Yeah.
Shit. We like the first Scarlet Street show where we played anything other than those first like 4 demos. I'm trying to think. Was at State Street Pub in Indianapolis. We were still a 3-piece, and we only played 2 shows as a 3-piece, and boy, did they go bad.
But you kept coming back.
That's why you brought
was
Luke in, right? I mean, you needed that extra
reinforcement.
Yeah. I mean, you get used to playing for 15 people at a certain point, but
Oh, big time.
but yeah, I mean, like then we played. I mean, if I were to think of the perfect Scarlet Street show, it was that album release show, man.
Oh, that was so fun.
That was fucking nuts. There was, I mean, it was a good lineup, obviously, but we had a band called Mascots, which was like the first time they played a show in like 2 years. Old Pictures, New Pictures. What was it? As It May. Yeah, As It May. Great band. Great Cincy band.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's us 4, and this is my favorite thing about that show is we moved it to the biggest room at the venue. Like the day before, I asked the venue, and I was like, hey, how are ticket sales right now? Because I was thinking about maybe moving this down to the big room just to just to see. And I go, well, you sold 12 tickets, and the big room is a 200 cap room, and but sure, we won't charge you extra if you really want to do it. And Holly, my wife, was like, go big or go home, just do it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, fine, fuck it. I was like, yeah, we'll move it downstairs. And 200 people showed up at the door, and
Wow.
it was nuts, dude. Like, we played the whole album front to back, the first album, but it was wild. I've never felt anything like that before. And that was Luke's first show too, and it was Luke. Luke brought everybody.
You go. Yeah, he just called 200 of his closest friends, and they all showed up. Drove down from C-Bus.
You're like, Luke, it's always like this.
People.
It's always like
This is what could happen every time if you just keep playing with us. It'll
Me and my 200 friends.
Please don't quit. It'll be like this every time. I promise.
We'll get him to download this episode too, Luke, so we can get run
there
the
you
numbers up, baby.
The secret weapon.
The tell a friend. All 200 friends, tell a friend.
I got you.
Word of mouth, baby. So, what's next for you guys going forward? I mean, we're at the end of 2025, so not a lot of stuff happens, mid to late December. But what's 2026 looking like for Scarlet Street?
If anybody knows a good booking agent, hook us up. Because fuck, man, we would love to play, out way more. We're hoping possibly getting something together on the West Coast. We've never played further than Iowa, so that would be sick. But we've already kind of started up the Discord this week, or was that? Yeah, that was like literally the last 24 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
Plains down.
that's kind of how we collaborate with like writing music. Is we throw up little demos and shit on Discord.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we're kind of getting the idea of what new Scarlet Street may or may not sound like. But shows and new music, that's what we want to do, I think. And everything's constantly precarious. This band is constantly teetering on some kind of edge, so it's never a fucking dull moment if you like us.
Fire up the Discord. Ben's already shooting off some ideas.
Yeah,
let's do it. Cool.
Get the synthesizer out for the first time ever.
I love it.
For Scarlet Street.
I love it. Piano, synthesizer. What's next? Mandolin.
Fuck it. If it works, if it sounds good, we'll do it.
Well, awesome, guys. This was a blast. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we look forward to whatever's next, even though it's teetering on the edge.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you so much, Anthony Tony.
Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all over the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast. YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.